Hello everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. I'm excited to be collaborating with Creative Time with ME. ME stands for Mary Ellen Driggs. I want to show you a couple of her cards so you get an idea of her crafting style. This is a card that she created for the Team Tiny Under the Sea hop. The next one is an interactive card that she created. And lastly is a gel plate print card that she created. So as you can see, she is super eclectic. I will link her video in the description box below. Make sure that you head over and check out her video. I am using Concord and Ninth products. We're doing clean and simple cards today. That was a piece of Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. This card base is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at the 1/2 inch mark. This is the Wildflower stamp set from Concord and Ninth. I do bring in the beautiful die, and that is from Gina Marie Designs. It's Loopy Circle. Pink Fresh Studio is my ink of choice today. This card panel is also Nina Solar White 80-pound. I am simply going to be stamping out my background for this card. As I said, it is a clean and simple card. I decided to go with grays and white. The gray in the background is going to be super subtle. When you're creating a background, it's best to start with your largest images, which is what I am doing. So there, I believe, are 3 images in total that I start off with. And then after I cut into this panel, I bring in some smaller stamps from the collection just so that I can fill in some of the missing spots or the open spots that are a little bit stark. Using this Pink Fresh Studio ink, I am taking the 2 lightest colors. Misti Coast is what the background is going to be stamped with, and then I will come in and do a little bit of coloring on some of the flowers that will be part of the focal point of the card. And when I do that coloring, I'm going to be using Rocky Slope and Metropolis. So Mary Ellen is, as I said, just a wonderful creator. I was super excited that we were doing this collaboration together. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, I would highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the videos that she creates. I'm using this Gina Marie Designs Loopy Circle die to cut out the center of my card base. That card base is going to be popped up and the center will be reinserted back in. But if you haven't been over to Gina Marie Designs and checked out her dies, she is, I believe all of her dies are made in the United States. They are super affordable. I think this die was $10. If you are looking for some slimline dies, she has some for $13, and I mean really nice dies. These dies cut very well. I never have any problem cutting them in either my Vagabond or my Gemini Junior. Here's where I come in with my focal point flowers. I am stamping them using the Metropolis, which is just a little bit darker than the Rocky Slope. And then I'm going to use my Dove blender pen to do a little bit of coloring once I ink up those leaves. I have been using my Dove blender pen forever, it seems like. I absolutely love that staple in my collection. I said it in my last video, I'm becoming a broken record. If you don't have one, it is just such an invaluable tool to have in your collection because you're able to color with it. If you need to fill in some spots when you're masking or spots that you may have missed with some ink, it's an easy way to get into those tiny crevices and get the job done. As you can see, I'm just simply putting down that rocky point. I am not doing any ink blending, laying down a little bit of color so that I have some interest on those leaves. It does a beautiful job when I start coloring the flowers of flicking, so I'm able to get a nice flicking motion from the center out. I believe, start with the Metropolis, and then I blend in a little bit of the Rocky Point to give the flowers some interest. I'm going to clean off my pen. Whenever you bring in a new color, make sure that you wipe that pen off so that you don't contaminate your ink pad or your project. But look at how beautiful. Look at those little flick marks. It blends out. It starts out highly concentrated, obviously, when you first put your pen in, and then it lightens up as your strokes get longer. Now, I will take these over to my brother's Scan and Cut. Unfortunately, my brother's Scan and Cut did not recognize the center line, and I didn't catch it on one of those large leaves. So I did have to use a pencil to draw it into the second one, and I only end up using one of those leaves because it cut a million little leaves instead of one large piece like I wanted. So it actually worked out really well. I did decide to stamp these two other little sprigs, and with the stamping of this flower and those two leaves, I did use the same Metropolis ink. Now I'm going to come in with, I believe I used a little bit of the licorice on this one, and I do go back and add some licorice to the other flowers. And then I will color the leaves in using that rocky slope. Nope, I did use the Metropolis. So I used the Metropolis there, and I am using the Rocky Point here. Then these will go over to my brother's Scan and Cut, and they will cut out beautifully, and we will start building our sentiment. As I said, I decided to bring in the beautiful sentiment, which is also from Concord and Ninth. All the products that I use will be listed in the description box below. I just laid down some color on a piece of scrap paper, and then I cut several more layers. I did pop up that panel with some foam adhesive, and I decided that because I was using that beautiful, my first intent was to inlay the die cut of the Loopy Circle, but because that beautiful wasn't going to be supported enough, I decided that I would also add 2 layers of the foam tape to that one. So it is actually going to be a little bit higher than the panel below it. I thought that this needed just a little bit more depth to it, so I added a second coat of color. Because I did stack those sentiments, the white was a little bit stark, so I decided to go ahead and blend around the edges of those of that word so that you didn't see the white. And then I had just a little bit of an issue trying to line some of this up. It had nothing to do, obviously, with the die. It was just me not being able to get the glue out of my bottle. Now we're going to start putting our card together, and that is art glitter glue that I'm using. That is my glue of choice. So here we go. Those are all the elements. As you can see, I only have one of those sprigs. I'm going to show you how I think I'm going to lay this out. And you can see, I'm seeing right here that if I inlay that Loopy Circle, which I'm glad I did a dry fit with that, because if I didn't and I had just put that foam adhesive on the back and laid that down, or just put some glue on the back of that Loopy Circle and inlaid it, I would have been a very unhappy camper, because as I said, it's an intricate enough die that it would be hard for me to get some foam tape behind it. And also, whenever I try to use fun foam with word dies, it tends to stretch. I don't know about you, but for me, it tends to stretch. Here's where I come in and I add 2 layers. So I put one on top of the other, because now it's going to make it higher than the panel that I'm inlaying it into. And then I'll lay out my word and I'll glue that down. And lastly, I'll start putting this together. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're new here, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe. Ring the bell so you're notified whenever I upload a video. All of the products, as I said, are going to be listed in the description box below. By clicking on some of those links, I do receive a small commission from some of the companies. That is how I support my channel in a way that you can support my channel without any cost to you. So with those affiliate links, they do not charge you any extra for your products. It is just a thank you for me sending you over to them. I did add some foam behind, or I will be adding some foam behind that large flower, and I am just gluing. When I glue these little pieces down, I do not typically glue all of it down, these little sprigs. I let them hang loose. I'm going to tuck that flower underneath. Then I will glue down the other two little leaf sprigs. And that is pretty much going to be my card. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to add a little Nouveau seashell, I believe, ivory shell. Here's a look at my final card. Head over to Mary Ellen's page. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a fabulous day.